Hey guys, working on a 2004 Vespa GT200. I got some parts from Vespa Motorsports. A buddy of mine ordered them, and it's his machine, so changing out some seals and some bearings and such. It's the front end, front hub. This thing was pretty fired up. Speedo gear was all locked up inside here. The seals weren't doing their job, so water infiltrated in here and just kind of fired up all the bearings and grease and stuff like that. So I got the bearings moving pretty good. They don't feel bad at all. I'm going to spray them again, put some air on them, get some grease in there. Put this big seal on the outside. So anyway, that's where we're gonna start here. I got the bearings and seal in the brake hub assembly. Put the seal in here. It's pretty easy. There's a bearing behind here, so you don't want to damage that if it's okay. So what I did was I took a screwdriver, real easy, put it right behind the seal. There's a rubber seals on the inside, and just kind of popped that guy right out of there. Came out pretty easy. Sprayed some parts clean in there. Hit it with the air. Had that bearing spinning real good. Cleaned that all out. Took the clip off here. And then I knocked the bearing right out. All this stuff is really simple, not hard to do at all. Pack the bearing because it's open on the inside, it's sealed on the outside here. And then I put some grease on the inside, blew some air through there, make sure I got it all through that bearing real good. Same thing, this is a roller bearing on the opposite side, and got that working real good. So I didn't get a video of that. I just thought about it. It's kind of early in the morning, so I thought, well, maybe we make a YouTube video of this for the Vespa owners out there in the world. Okay guys, so I put this stuff in the parts washer. Wish I would have got some pictures of this beforehand. It was really dirty inside. The grease was almost like plastic. It was caked all through this gear here, and that's where the plastic gear that goes inside this guy rides in there, and that's what gives your makes your speedometer work. And it was all just really bad. So anyway, I got this all cleaned out. This was the same way. It had like just this buildup in here, all plastic looking. It was grease is what happened, and it got hard, and it was just horrible. So anyway, I got this cleaned up now. I'm gonna spray these bearings again with some parts cleaner, just to try to get any of that parts wash out of there. Bearing's moving pretty good. You just don't want any of that part cleaner in there. It will won't let the grease do its job. And put some grease in here on these rollers. Oh yeah, moving pretty good. Just put some more in there. Okay, it's feeling pretty good. A little more in there. Yeah, she looks really nice now. Don't have to worry about that happening again, because I got new seals and that for the outside here, and try to get a video of that while I'm trying to put all that stuff back together. But yeah, it looks pretty good. 1,000 times better than what it was. Okay, this is what we got to work with. Okay, what I'm going to do is just put grease inside here. Just try to fill up these cavities here. That's all we're doing for now. Still had like the factory grease down in here, and some of these cavities that come out, it was like yellowish, probably from the water and such. So we don't want to, we want to leave any of that stuff in there. We don't want to go too crazy with the grease inside here, because there's a plastic gear that comes up through here. Like I said, for the Speedo gear, you need it to move. I mean, it does. You don't want to pack it too tight in here, like have this whole thing totally full to the top. There won't be any room in there for movement. So for now, we're going to leave it like that. Another rag. You want to clean the beginning and part of this hub, because that seal is going to go in there, and you don't want to get it too packed with grease, because it actually makes it thicker that way. So you want to get most of that out of there. You don't want to wipe it totally clean, but in the same sense, it'll be a little slippery that way. Yeah. And take this guy here. Oil seal for caliper bracket 177494, part number. Like I said, this is a 2004. I think these parts are ordered, said 2005, 6, something of that nature. From what I gather, talking to a friend of mine, he said that this they're all pretty much the same. For whatever reason, that site had it listed as a later model or a newer model. So let's kind of get this set like that, and then we're going to take a small rubber mallet. Make sure the rubber mallet's kind of cleaned off too. It's not going to be the easiest thing to do, but I do have a tool. You can buy bearing and seal remove installer tool, whatever you want to call it. I think AutoZone, Advanced Auto. Okay, and they're kind of nice to have. It's like 20 bucks. You get a couple different sizes. You can flip them either way. They're beveled. Okay, that's to drive a bearing out, drive a seal out, install a seal, install a bearing. So right now, we're going to use the larger of all of them. I always just hand tighten that thing there. Okay? Typically you want to have this where it's set flush or level or whatever. Makes it a little bit easier, and I might have to put it in a vise to do the install. Kind of get it started where it needs to be like that. Set this on here. Okay. You don't want to go too crazy. Sometimes it doesn't work even with having this tool. Seals sometimes it can be a real pain. But you just got to have some patience with it, that's all. And with your bearings, sometimes what you could do, and this is a little trick I learned throughout the years, you could take your bearings and let's say they're going on the inside of a hub or whatever, and you can put them in a deep freeze, or even in your freezer if you don't have a deep freezer, and then what that'll do is actually that'll shrink that just like tens of thousands of an inch, and it'll make your installation so much easier. Okay. Come on, buddy. We'll get you in there. Okay. Oop. A little much. Okay. We're going to have to straighten that out a little bit. Yeah, it must be, should check that seal. Maybe there's a burr or something on it. Or another piece of like rubber, the way they cast them, mold them, or whatever. Okay. Let me pause this for now. Okay, guys. I'm back. I had to take a coffee break anyhow. Okay. So what I did was I put a rag inside there and just popped that out. It was pretty simple. And then I pushed it right in with my fingers. It actually went in pretty easy. Now I got to drive that down in there a little bit. Again, you just want to take your time. I don't have any of these guys that will fit on the outside edges. So what I have to do is I just took a smaller one, and I'm going to go real nice and easy around the outside here. You want to get that down in there. You don't want to go too crazy. Like I said, you got to have patience when you're doing these seals. Would have been better on a vise. You want to try to keep this going in even the whole way around. Okay. It's going down a little faster here. It'll probably pop right out if I pull too much here, so. If you had the perfect adapter, it would fit right in there nice. This thing would be cake to kind of put in. Just gonna walk it around here. It's rubber, so like I said, just gotta have patience. Be patient with it. It'll be perfect, you know, when you're done. You know, and if you're not really sure when you order some of this stuff, you know, order an extra one or whatever. You know, this seal is not the hardest seal I've ever put in anything, but I think because it's so large, you know, maybe if you had a piece of PVC pipe or something, it was cut perfect. You know, anything kind of, you can make work to do this kind of stuff. You know, you just have to be very careful when you're using something that's very, very hard and has a sharp edge on it. These things are, you know, there's no sharp edges here. Okay, well that's in. Okay. Let's get that guy wiped off a little bit there. I'm going to be pretty meticulous when it comes to keeping that stuff clean. I mean, I know that looking at the bench and stuff doesn't look that way, but inside here you want to just wipe that seal off, because you can see there's dirt, and it could be just from the grease getting on that seal. Okay, we'll look at that seal edge on the inside, make sure it looks okay. It looks round. It's not all fired up. Okay. Grease looks good. Just pull some of that grease up to that seal. Sorry if I get out of the viewing area there. I don't have the right equipment to hold my phone. What you want to do is you want to take that grease around the perimeter of the thing here. Okay. So now we got a new seal installed. The bearings, I cleaned them all out. They're packed full of grease again. Good deal. Okay, and then this guy here. Like I said, I got these bearings all moving freely and everything looks good. Probably put just a little bit of grease on that gear, so whenever I got to put it in there, I don't have to mess with it. I wouldn't go probably too crazy with it. Maybe this is an installation doesn't really call for grease because of, you know, the plastic gear in there. I'm not 100% sure. So we'll just do a tiny little bit, and once that gear starts to move in there, we'll just do a line right across here. It'll start picking up that grease and moving it throughout. That's what I'm thinking. My educated guess. So not totally packed with grease inside this gear. But okay, To be continued.